Good morning, everybody. Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, Bay City, Michigan. Welcome to the Biker Devotional. Today is January 27th, 2025. We are looking at Proverbs chapter 27. We're going to look at verse 25 through 27 today, and we're going to see something about ourselves. When hay is removed, a new growth appears, and the grain from the hills is gathered in. Lambs will provide your clothing, and goats the price of a field. There will be enough goat's milk for your food, food for your household, and nourishment for female servants. You know, I was having a conversation this last week with someone, and they were telling me that they really struggle with doing hard things now for an outcome, a potential outcome later. It's really hard to do hard things now for a potential outcome later. And in that conversation, I used the analogy of tilling up a field. And the potential outcome is that you're going to plant the field, you're going to care for the field, you're going to harvest the field, you're going to have what you need to care for your family, whether it's by selling it, by eating it, whatever it might be. Solomon's using that same analogy today. When hay is removed, a new growth appears, and the grain from the hills is gathered in. Lambs will provide your clothing, and goats the price of a field. There will be enough goat's milk for your food, food for your household, and nourishment for your female servants. The problem is, we till the field in the spring, or maybe just before winter hits, to prep it for planting in the spring. And there's no guarantee that there's going to be a harvest, because we might get too much rain. We might not get enough rain. We might have a windstorm, a hailstorm. There's thousands of things that could go wrong, aren't there? So why would I plow the field when it's not guaranteed to give me a harvest? And I reminded the person that there's absolutely a guarantee you won't have a harvest if you don't plow the field. That's number one. But there's benefits in and of itself for plowing the field. They may seem minuscule at the moment. Maybe you plowed the field just before winter hit, and in the spring it's too wet to plant, and you're not going to get a harvest. But here's the thing. You've removed some rocks, you've loosened the soil, you've given the ground time to rest. You've done the things that are necessary to prepare not only the ground, but yourself for a harvest. Sometimes we get upset because the harvest doesn't land when we want it to. But the reality is, in the Exodus, or in Genesis, we see how Egypt prepared for a 7-year famine by storing everything up. And then they had 7 years where nothing grew. That can happen, can't it? It can. But I bet you the year after the famine, when they tilled up that ground and the weather was conducive for growing, I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was conducive for growing, I bet you that harvest was one of the best harvests they had had in a long time, because the land got a chance to rest. We need to remember that it's not always about the harvest. There is a now benefit to everything we do. Our relationship with Jesus isn't about someday, possibly. That's a guarantee if we live a someday right now with Him. But if we don't live a someday right now with Him, there is a guarantee that if we die today, we won't be with him for eternity. Don't take that too far. I'm not saying you're going to lose your salvation. That's between you and God, and only you and God know that place. But I will tell you that living the kingdom life now has a huge impact for your kingdom life later. Guys, when hay is removed and new growth appears, and the grain from the hills is gathered in, lambs will provide your clothing, goats the price of a field. There will be enough goat's milk for food for you and your household. Do the work now. The benefits are now and in the future. I love y'all. Hope you have a great day. God bless.